The world moved around Alex, people hurried, cars rushed by, buildings scraped the vast, indifferent sky. Alex watched it all, a quiet observer in a noisy, bustling world. Something felt profoundly missing. A vital piece of an intricate puzzle, perhaps, or maybe the entire picture, the grand design, was frustratingly unclear. Alex often felt like a small boat, adrift on an endless ocean, without a rudder, without a distant shore in sight, just drifting, aimlessly, towards an unknown horizon. Days bled into weeks, weeks dissolved into months. The routine was a familiar comfort, a predictable rhythm in an unpredictable existence, yet it was also a gilded cage, its bars unseen but deeply felt. Alex went to work, Alex came home, Alex slept. One evening the sky was a canvas of brilliant orange. Sunsets often brought with them a strange, poignant melancholy. Alex sat by the window, watching the fiery colours slowly fade to deep purple, then inevitably to the velvet black of night. A profound sense of smallness washed over Alex, an overwhelming awareness of insignificance in the grand cosmic dance. What was the point of it all? This brief, fleeting existence, this hurried, often chaotic life? The question was no longer a gentle whisper. It had become a deafening shout. Alex began to read, voraciously, books written by wise people from ages past, philosophers, thinkers, spiritual guides, poets who captured the human heart in verse. Their words were beautiful, their ideas were profound and thought-provoking, yet they felt like borrowed clothes. Elegant, perhaps, but they didn't quite fit Alex's unique form. Conversations with friends offered temporary comfort, shared anxieties, but no real lasting clarity. The decision to look inward felt like standing at the edge of a vast, dark forest. Alex took the first tentative steps. The path, if there was one, was immediately obscured. The silence Alex had hoped for was not there. Instead, the mind was a noisy, crowded marketplace, full of chattering thoughts, old worries, and insistent self-doubts. Each one clamoured for attention. Each one pulled Alex in a different direction. It was exhausting, far more tiring than any physical journey could ever be. This inner world was wild, untamed, and deeply confusing. Alex tried to meditate, sitting still, focusing on breath, but the mind rebelled, it fidgeted, it wandered, it conjured images and anxieties with relentless energy. Peace felt like a distant star, unreachable. Alex tried journaling, pouring out the swirling chaos onto paper. The pages filled quickly, with questions, with frustrations. One afternoon, the walls of Alex's apartment felt too close, the air too still, the silence too heavy with unspoken questions. Alex needed to move, needed fresh air, needed a different perspective, however small. Without a destination in mind, Alex started walking. The city streets hummed with their usual activity. But Alex sought something quieter, a place where the internal noise might just for a moment subside. The steps were aimless, yet they carried a sliver of unconscious hope, a desire for an unseen signpost. The path led to an old, forgotten park, tucked away from the city's relentless pace. Ancient trees stood like silent sentinels, their leaves whispered in the gentle breeze. Sunlight dappled the overgrown grass. It was a pocket of serenity, a small sanctuary. Alex found a worn wooden bench beneath a sprawling oak, sat down, and breathed. The air here felt different, cleaner. A hesitant courage bloomed within Alex. Spurred by the gentle smile, Alex walked over to the elderly person. "Your flowers are beautiful," Alex said. The words felt simple, true. The elderly person straightened up slowly. Their face, etched with the map of many years, held a serene expression. "Thank you," they replied. Their voice was soft, like rustling leaves. "They bring a little bit of joy, don't they, to this quiet corner of the world?" There was no pretense in their words, just a simple statement of fact. They began to talk. Not about anything profound at first, about the weather, about the changing seasons, about the resilience of nature in the heart of the city. The elderly person spoke with a quiet wisdom, finding meaning in the small, everyday things. Alex listened, more intently than usual. There was something in their calm demeanour, something in their simple words. It drew Alex in. The question hung in the air. What have your thoughts told you so far? Alex pondered this, realizing that thoughts had mostly brought more questions, more anxieties, more feelings of being lost in a labyrinth. The old person who introduced themselves as Ilara listened with unwavering attention. She didn't interrupt. She didn't judge. Her presence was a calm anchor in Alex's turbulent sea of thoughts. She simply allowed Alex the space to explore the honest answer to that seemingly simple query. When Alex finished, Ilara smiled faintly. "Thoughts can be like a tangled garden," she said, her voice gentle. "Sometimes they need careful tending. Sometimes they need new seeds to be planted." Then she posed another question. A question that shifted Alex's perspective. Instead of asking what the meaning of life, Ilara suggested softly, "Perhaps ask, what brings meaning life? What small moments make your heart feel a little lighter? When do you feel most truly yourself, even for a fleeting instant?" This was different. It wasn't about finding one universal abstract answer. It was about discovering personal, tangible moments of connection, moments of quiet joy, moments of genuine presence. Alex had been searching for a mountain. Ilara was pointing to the beauty of small, precious stones along the path. She spoke of life not as a riddle to be solved, but as a journey to be experienced. Alex carried Ilara's words like precious, fragile jewels. "What brings meaning life?" The question echoed softly. It was a gentler sound now, less demanding than the old, persistent ones that once haunted Alex's quiet hours. Alex made a conscious effort to notice, to truly pay attention to the world. The comforting warmth of the morning sun as it streamed through the window, the rich, invigorating taste of the first sip of coffee. The brief yet surprisingly friendly nod exchanged with a stranger on the bustling city street. These were small, everyday things, easily overlooked in the rush of previous days. Now Alex actively sought them out, holding them in awareness for a moment longer than before. It was a subtle yet profound shift in perception, a deliberate turning of attention towards the gentle whispers of life. The old habits of mind, however, fought back with surprising tenacity, the ingrained desire for grand, sweeping answers, the simmering impatience for a sudden, bright flash of enlightenment. These were strong, familiar currents in Alex's inner world. They constantly threatened to pull Alex back into the well-known waters of frustration and despair. Sometimes the small, cherished moments felt utterly insignificant, too fleeting, too ephemeral to hold any real weight against the vastness of life's enduring mysteries. In those moments of doubt, Alex would consciously recall Ilara's calm, knowing face, her gentle reminder about the garden of thoughts. It needed patient, consistent tending. Just as a fragile sense of balance emerged, life presented a new challenge. Alex's significant project was unexpectedly cancelled. The news arrived without warning, like a sudden sharp blow. All the late nights spent toiling away, all the hopes pinned on its success, vanished in an instant. A wave of profound disappointment washed over Alex, a stark, unwelcome taste, a harsh reminder of life's unpredictability and its frequent unfairness. What was the point of all this striving, of caring so deeply, if things could be undone so easily, without any apparent reason? The small lights Alex had cultivated seemed to dim, overwhelmed by sudden darkness. The feeling of being adrift returned. It felt like a deep betrayal, a betrayal of the hope that had just begun to bloom. The world seemed devoid of meaning, a cruel, indifferent stage. The vibrant city outside felt harsh. The desire to connect with others withered. It felt safer to be alone, to nurse the wound in solitude. Ilara's words about finding meaning felt distant. How could a cup of coffee compare to this loss? How could a stranger's nod soothe this ache? The mind became overgrown with resentment. Sleep offered little solace, dreams were troubled. Alex felt the cloak of despair settle once more. It was an unwelcome weight. Yet amidst the turmoil there was a subtle difference. A tiny, resilient part of Alex remembered the comforting lights, remembered Ilara's serene smile, almost lost in the noise of distress. But it was undeniably there, a fragile anchor, even in the midst of the tempest. Days passed in a monotonous grey haze of lingering disappointment. Alex moved through life mechanically, joy feeling forced. One evening, Alex saw Mrs. Petrov drop her groceries. Apples and oranges rolled across the sidewalk. Alex helped her without hesitation. Mrs. Petrov was flustered, apologetic. Alex reassured her, easing her distress. Together they collected the groceries. A genuine connection was made. Alex felt a quiet, gentle warmth, born from a small act of kindness. Meaning was found in connection with others, connecting one human heart to another. The unexpected experience with Mrs. Petrov planted a new, tender seed in Alex's mind, a seed of genuine curiosity about connection, about the subtle ties that bind people together. Alex started to observe people more closely than before, not with judgment or critical analysis, but with a quiet, receptive openness. Noticing the small, often overlooked acts of kindness exchanged between strangers, the shared, spontaneous laughter that brightened a dull afternoon, the comforting, reassuring gestures offered in moments of distress. These moments, Alex realized, were everywhere, frequently unnoticed, like tiny hidden gems sparkling brightly in the pervasive everyday dust of life. Alex began to understand. Perhaps meaning wasn't something to be found. Perhaps it was something to be actively created, co-created, through these very interactions. One sun-drenched afternoon, seeking solace and a quiet space for reflection, Alex returned to the park. The very same park where Ilara had so gently shared her profound wisdom. Ilara was not there this time, but the park itself, with its ancient trees and peaceful atmosphere, seemed to hold a clear, comforting memory of her serene peace. Alex sat on the same worn wooden bench, watched a group of children chase pigeons with uninhibited glee. Their unrestrained, pure joy was surprisingly infectious. A young couple walked by slowly, hand in hand. Their quiet, shared contentment radiated outwards like a gentle warmth. Alex felt a distinct pang, not of envy this time, but of a gentle, poignant longing. A longing for that simple, uncomplicated, shared happiness. It was a pure, deeply human emotion. Suddenly a small child, no more than 3 years old, who was playing nearby, stumbled and fell. A scraped knee, a sudden startled burst of loud, frightened tears. Before the child's parent, who was a short distance away, could reach them, Alex was there, instinctively offering a gentle, steadying hand, speaking soft, soothing, comforting words. The child's heartbroken crying slowly subsided, gradually replaced by a hiccuping, wide-eyed curiosity. Alex helped the small child up, carefully brushed off the dirt from the tiny clothes. The parent arrived, flustered but full of heartfelt gratitude. For that brief, intense moment, Alex felt completely, utterly present, wholly absorbed in the simple, profound act of comforting another human being. There was no profound intellectual thought accompanying this action, no sudden philosophical breakthrough or grand revelation, just a feeling. A clear, unmistakable feeling of rightness, a feeling of deep, quiet, unassuming satisfaction. It was as if a small warm light had unexpectedly switched on inside Alex's chest, illuminating a previously shadowed, unnoticed corner of the heart. This, Alex realized with a jolt of clarity, was meaning. Not an abstract concept to be debated, but a tangible experience to be felt, an experience of genuine connection, of heartfelt compassion, of making a small yet positive difference in another's immediate vulnerable world. It was a moment of pure, unexpected grace, simple, unadorned, and deeply, profoundly resonant. The encounter with the small child in the park stayed with Alex. It became a cherished memory, a touchstone. It didn't erase the disappointment from the cancelled project, but it offered a different kind of answer, an answer felt in the heart. Alex realized Ilara's wisdom was about lived experience, about patient attention and openness to the world. The inner landscape was connected to the outer world. They influenced each other profoundly. The path ahead was still long, still unfolding, but Alex felt a shift within, a newfound curiosity. The journey was becoming a graceful dance with life. The landscape of the heart was beginning to bloom. Alex felt a gentle, persistent pull, a desire to understand more. Not just from within, but from the vibrant, myriad lives unfolding all around. Each life Alex began to see was a unique story, a thread woven into the vast, intricate tapestry of humanity. These stories held echoes of joy, sorrow, struggle, and quiet triumph. They whispered of endurance. They sang of hope. Alex felt a growing sense of warmth, a profound recognition of shared humanity. The world felt less like a collection of isolated individuals and more like a vast, interconnected web of narratives. Each story, Alex realized, offered a unique perspective, a different window onto the shared human condition. Understanding these diverse stories expanded Alex's own understanding of what it meant to live, to experience, to seek. Alex's journey of seeking diverse perspectives continued. Drawn by vibrant colors, Alex wandered into a small art gallery. It showcased the work of a local artist named Kai. The paintings were a whirlwind of emotion. Some were dark and turbulent, filled with jagged lines and deep, brooding shades. Others were light and ethereal, bursting with joyful, almost incandescent colors. Alex felt a strong pull towards the art. It seemed to speak a language beyond mere words, a language of raw feeling, of unfiltered experience. It was both challenging and deeply moving. It was an honest reflection of life's varied spectrum. Kai was there, quietly observing visitors. Alex felt a surge of nervous courage and approached the artist. "Your work is incredibly powerful," Alex said. The words felt inadequate but sincere. Kai offered a gentle, thoughtful smile. "Thank you," Kai replied. "I try to paint what I feel, what I see. Not just the pretty things, but all of it. The light, the shadow, the beauty that can often be found in brokenness, and the strength that emerges from our deepest scars." Kai spoke of art as a way of processing the world, a way of transforming pain into something else, something that could be shared, something that might even heal. Alex asked Kai about meaning, about purpose. Kai paused, considering the question carefully. "For me," Kai explained. Meaning is in the act of creation itself. It's in taking the chaos of life, the confusion, the joy, the sorrow, and giving it form, giving it color, giving it voice. Kai believed that art allowed for a deeper connection, a connection with one's own inner world and a connection with others who might see their own experiences reflected in the work. It was not about finding definitive answers. It was about asking better, more profound questions. It was about embracing the full spectrum of human emotion and finding the inherent beauty scattered throughout. This encounter opened another new window for Alex. Meaning could be expressed, it could be created. It was not just something to be passively discovered or intellectually understood. It could be actively shaped, molded by human hands, given life through human passion. The artist's prism showed Alex that even difficult experiences, even moments of darkness, could be transformed. They could become sources of profound insight and sources of a unique, resilient kind of beauty. Alex left the gallery with a sense of expanded possibility. The palette of life seemed richer, more complex, and infinitely more interesting than ever before. The search for meaning was becoming a creative act in itself. Section 3. The Builder's Blueprint, Crafting Connections That Last. Alex sought out people making tangible differences, leading to a community garden project. Here, Alex met Leo, a quiet, tireless organizer. Leo brought people together to cultivate the earth and build lasting community bonds. Leo moved with calm, purposeful energy, fostering connection. People from all walks of life worked side by side, sharing tools and laughter. Leo believed in building meaning through small acts of service and shared purpose, crafting connections that nourished both the individual and the collective. Section 4. The Wanderer's Compass, Discovering Meaning in Motion. Alex's quest for diverse perspectives took an unexpected turn. While browsing in a travel bookstore, Alex met Ria. Ria was a seasoned traveller. Her eyes held the distant gaze of someone who had seen many horizons. She spoke with infectious enthusiasm about the transformative power of movement, stepping out of one's comfort zone, embracing the unknown. Ria believed the world was the greatest teacher. True understanding came from venturing forth with courage. Alex was intrigued by Ria's outward focus. "What do you find out there?" Alex asked. "What meaning does all that movement bring to your life?" Ria's laughter was like a gust of fresh wind. "It's not always about finding something specific," she explained. "Sometimes it's about the process of searching, the journey itself. Each new place, each new culture, each unexpected encounter teaches you something. About the world, yes, but more importantly about yourself. It chips away at your preconceptions. It expands your understanding of what's possible. It shows you that there are countless ways to live a meaningful life." Ria shared stories of challenges faced on the road, moments of loneliness, times of feeling utterly lost. But these, she insisted, were often the moments of greatest growth. "When you are stripped of the familiar," she said, her voice thoughtful, "you discover strengths you never knew you possessed. You learn to rely on your intuition, on the kindness of strangers. You see that the world is far more interconnected and people far more compassionate than you might imagine from your own small corner." For Ria, meaning was not a fixed point. It was a dynamic, ever-shifting landscape, discovered in the constant flow of new experiences, in the courage to adapt, and in the wisdom gained from embracing change. Alex listened, feeling a sense of exhilaration mixed with a touch of apprehension. Ria's path was so different from the quiet introspection Alex had been pursuing. Yet there was a compelling truth in her words. Meaning could indeed be found in motion, in bravely stepping into the stream of life, in allowing oneself to be changed by the journey. Ria's compass pointed towards experience, towards direct engagement with the vastness and diversity of the world. It suggested that sometimes the best way to understand life was to plunge into it head first, with curiosity as your guide and the courage to embrace whatever came next. This perspective added another vital dimension to Alex's evolving understanding. Section 5, The Unfolding Map, Integrating the Diverse Paths. Alex carried these encounters like precious, multifaceted gems. The storyteller's thread, the artist's rich prism, the builder's sturdy blueprint, the wanderer's ever-pointing compass. Each conversation, each shared perspective had added a new layer to Alex's understanding, a new colour to the unfolding map of meaning. It was clear now. There was no single definitive answer to the age-old question, no one-size-fits-all solution to the puzzle of life's purpose. Instead, there were countless paths, countless valid ways to experience and create meaning, each one resonating with different individuals at different times in their lives. This realization felt profoundly liberating. The initial pressure Alex had felt, the desperate need to find meaning, began to gently dissolve, replaced by a sense of awe and a deep, abiding respect for the diversity of human experience. Alex saw that Ilara's wisdom about tending the inner garden was vital, but so was the storyteller's connection to shared history. So was the artist's passionate drive to create beauty from chaos. So was the builder's commitment to fostering community. And so was the wanderer's courageous embrace of the unknown. These were not contradictory paths. They were complementary notes in a grand, complex, and ultimately harmonious symphony, each one essential to the whole. Alex realized that the journey itself was the process of integration, of weaving these different threads into a unique personal tapestry. A tapestry that was constantly evolving, constantly growing richer and more intricate with each new experience, each new insight. Meaning was not a destination to be reached, but a way of travelling, a way of engaging with the world, with an open heart, with a curious mind, with a willingness to learn from everyone and everything. The fear of not knowing was slowly being transformed. It was becoming an invitation to explore further, to connect more deeply, to live more fully. The transformative journey was far from over. Alex understood that now. Life would continue to present new questions, new challenges, new opportunities for growth. But Alex no longer felt lost, no longer felt adrift. There was a newfound sense of inner direction, a quiet confidence, born not from having all the answers, but from embracing the ongoing dynamic process of seeking, of learning, of becoming. The unfolding map of life was vast, its territories largely uncharted. But Alex now carried a compass of curiosity and a heart increasingly open to the diverse, wonderful and wisdom-filled voices along the way. The voices of the storyteller, the artist, the builder and the wanderer echoed gently within Alex. They were like distinct musical notes, each beautiful on its own. Yet Alex began to hear something more, a subtle harmony emerging from their diverse melodies. Their stories, their passions, their unique approaches to life were not so separate after all. They whispered of shared human longings, of common human truths. Alex listened, with a heart more open than ever before, letting these varied wisdoms settle, letting them mingle. A quiet pattern began to emerge, like shapes forming in the shifting clouds. The storyteller found meaning in shared human narratives. The artist discovered it in transforming raw emotion into tangible beauty. The builder crafted meaning by nurturing community. The wanderer sought it in the ever-changing tapestry of new experiences, growth and connection. These words resonated. They appeared again and again in different forms, in different contexts, but their essence remained constant. Alex pondered this emerging theme. Could it be this simple, this fundamental? The grand complex questions about life's purpose had always felt so overwhelming, so impossibly vast, like trying to hold the entire ocean in a single cupped hand. But perhaps the answer was not a singular, monumental thing. Perhaps it was woven from these two essential threads: the ongoing journey of becoming more oneself and the deep, undeniable need to connect with something beyond oneself. The thought was like a gentle sunrise, slowly illuminating a previously hidden landscape within Alex's mind. It felt warm. It felt true. A sense of quiet anticipation began to stir within Alex. It was not an anxious striving, not the old familiar restlessness. It was a softer feeling, a sense of being on the cusp of a deeper understanding. As if the many scattered pieces of a complex puzzle were finally beginning to align. The journey had been long, filled with searching, filled with moments of confusion and doubt. But now, something felt different. A gentle current was pulling Alex towards a place of clarity, a place where the whispers of many would converge into a single resonant truth, a truth that Alex was almost ready to hear and to fully embrace. Seeking a space for this burgeoning understanding to fully unfold, Alex felt drawn back to nature, not to the structured community garden this time, nor to the bustling park where the children played. Alex sought deeper quietude, a place where the world's noise would fade completely, allowing the subtle inner voice to be heard without distraction. Alex found a small, secluded grove of trees, far from the city's ceaseless hum. The air was still. The only sounds were the gentle rustling of leaves, the distant call of a bird. It felt like a sacred space, a sanctuary for the soul. Alex sat beneath an ancient, sturdy tree. Its roots delved deep into the earth. Its branches reached towards the sky, a symbol of groundedness and aspiration. Alex closed their eyes, took a slow, deep breath. And then another, letting go of the thoughts that usually crowded the mind, letting go of the need to analyze, the need to figure things out. For a long while, Alex simply sat, in stillness, in silence, not expecting anything, not forcing anything, just being present in that very moment, with the earth beneath and the sky above. It was a profound act of surrender. In that profound stillness, something shifted. It was not a sudden flash of lightning, not a booming voice from the heavens. It was far more subtle, more gentle, like the slow, imperceptible opening of a flower bud. A quiet awareness unfurled within Alex's heart. The relentless search for an external, pre-packaged meaning began to dissolve. The anxieties about finding the answer, the one true purpose, started to fade away, replaced by a sense of profound inner calm. A quiet knowing that had been there all along, obscured by the noise, hidden by the fear. The truth, when it emerged, was not a complicated philosophical concept. It was not an intricate intellectual formula. It was simple, radically simple. It resonated with a clarity that bypassed the mind and went straight to the heart. Alex felt a wave of gentle recognition, as if remembering something long forgotten, something essential. Something deeply, intrinsically true. The world outside continued its turning, its ceaseless motion, its endless complexities. But here, in this still point, Alex had found an anchor, a place of profound peace, a quiet certainty that illuminated everything. The enlightenment that dawned upon Alex was not about discovering a universal decree. It was the profound realization that meaning is not a destination. It is a way of walking, a way of living, a way of being. Meaning is created through conscious choices and engagement with the world. Personal growth and authentic connection are the twin pillars. They are deeply intertwined, like roots and branches of a tree. This understanding felt like coming home. A profound sense of peace settled over Alex. It was not the absence of questions, but the absence of the heavy burden that those questions once carried. The old desperate yearning for a single ultimate meaning had transformed. It was now a gentle, appreciative awareness of the myriad ways meaning could be woven into the fabric of life. The enlightenment was not an end point. It was a new beginning, a new way of seeing, a new way of being in the world. Alex felt a quiet joy, a lightness of spirit, as if a great invisible weight had finally been lifted from weary shoulders. The former anxiety about life's inherent uncertainties began to soften, replaced by a newfound curiosity and a courageous acceptance. If meaning was created through growth and connection, then life's unpredictable nature was not a flaw. It was an opportunity, an invitation to continuously learn, to adapt, to connect in new and unexpected ways. The journey was not about arriving at a fixed destination of perfect understanding. It was about embracing the process itself, the ongoing dynamic flow of experience with all its challenges, with all its beauty, with all its potential for profound discovery. This shift in perspective was incredibly freeing. Alex knew that this understanding was not a static achievement, it was a living truth, one that would need to be nurtured, cultivated daily through conscious choices, through mindful attention. There would still be moments of doubt, moments of difficulty, moments when the path ahead seemed unclear. But now, Alex possessed an inner compass, a guiding principle to seek growth, to foster connection. This compass did not promise an easy journey, but it promised a meaningful one. A journey filled with purpose, a journey aligned with the deepest stirrings of the heart. With this integrated understanding, Alex felt ready to re-engage with the world, not as a lost soul searching for answers, but as an active participant, a co-creator of meaning. The stories of the storyteller, the artist, the builder, and the wanderer no longer felt like external lessons. They felt like parts of Alex's own unfolding story. Alex was ready to write the next chapter with courage, with compassion, and with a heart wide open to the ongoing adventure of life. The journey continued, but now Alex walked with a lighter step and a quiet knowing smile. Alex looked back upon the winding path of the journey. It had not been a straight road, clearly marked with signposts. Instead, it was a rich and intricate tapestry woven with threads of searching, moments of doubt, and bursts of sudden clarity. Each experience, even those that once felt like painful detours or frustrating cul-de-sacs, now revealed its essential place in the overall design. The initial confusion, the deep sense of feeling lost, had slowly transformed. It became a profound appreciation for the very process of unfolding. The questions that once haunted Alex were now seen as the very loom upon which this new understanding was carefully woven. The wisdom of Ilara, the gardener of thoughts, resonated deeply. Her gentle guidance had planted the first seeds of looking inward. Then came the storyteller, whose narratives illuminated the power of shared human experience. The artist Kai revealed how beauty and meaning could be forged, even from pain and chaos. Leo, the builder, demonstrated the profound satisfaction of crafting community and tangible connections. And Ria, the wanderer, showed that meaning could also be discovered in brave motion, in embracing the vastness of the world. These were not separate, isolated lessons. Alex now saw them as harmonious voices, each singing a unique verse of the same fundamental song of growth and connection. This intricately woven tapestry was Alex's own life, still being created with each passing day, each new choice. The earlier moments of struggle, the times of feeling utterly adrift, were not flaws in the design. They were essential darker threads, providing contrast and depth to the brighter strands of joy and insight. They made the emerging pattern richer, more authentic, more profoundly human. The small acts of kindness, the moments of genuine connection, the quiet epiphanies experienced in solitude, these were the vibrant, golden threads. They shimmered with a gentle, enduring light, illuminating the entire masterpiece in progress. This was a story of becoming. The reweaving of these diverse experiences brought a profound sense of coherence. What once felt like scattered fragments, random encounters, and disjointed thoughts now clicked into place, forming a meaningful, interconnected whole. There was no single, grand external answer handed down from on high. Instead, Alex discovered an internal, living understanding, a truth that had been patiently waiting to be uncovered from within. The journey itself, with all its seeking and questioning, had been the destination. Alex felt an immense gratitude for every part of it, for the initial ache that spurred the quest, for the guides who offered their light, and for the courage found within to keep walking even when the path was dark. Alex now dwelled in a place of quiet, inner calm. A peaceful harbour reached after a long and sometimes turbulent voyage. This peace was not a dull apathy, nor was it the complete absence of life's inevitable feelings. It was rather a deep and abiding acceptance of life in its magnificent, often mysterious, totality. The storms of doubt and anxiety might still gather on distant horizons, as life is ever-changing. But Alex now possessed a steadfast anchor. That profound inner stillness, first truly touched in the quiet grove, provided a secure mooring. This harbour was not conceived as a final static resting place. It was a sanctuary, a place to replenish the spirit, to integrate the wisdom gained before setting sail once more on life's vast and wondrous ocean. The big questions about life's ultimate purpose, about the universe's deepest secrets, still remained. They likely always would. But the desperate, anxious need for absolute, definitive answers had gently dissolved, vanished like morning mist under a rising sun. Alex now embraced these ongoing questions, not as heavy burdens or sources of torment, but as gentle invitations. Invitations to further growth, invitations to forge deeper connections. Curiosity, a bright and joyful spark, had replaced the old anxieties. Wonder, a sense of awe at the grand mystery, had replaced the chilling fear of the unknown. The vast uncharted territories of existence no longer felt like a threatening void. They felt like an open expanse, rich with potential for exploration, for learning, and for continued becoming. This newfound profound peace began to permeate Alex's everyday life. The small frustrations and daily annoyances which once might have escalated into significant existential crises were now met with greater perspective, with a patient, tolerant smile. Interactions with others became imbued with a deeper empathy, a more genuine understanding. Alex moved through the routines of the world with a noticeably lighter heart, with a mind more open and receptive. The wisdom that had been so arduously gained was not a heavy cloak of intellectual knowledge. It was a gentle, guiding light, illuminating the path forward, one step, one breath at a time, offering direction without imposing rigid dogma, showing the way without dictating the pace. Alex understood with a quiet certainty that this state of peace was not a permanent acquisition. It was a practice, a living, breathing state of being that required conscious nurturing. Much like Ilara's cherished garden, it needed consistent, tender care. It called for mindful attention, for a daily renewal of intention. But the effort involved was no longer perceived as a difficult struggle, a wearying battle against inner demons. Instead, it felt like a joyful commitment, a wholehearted dedication to living authentically. A promise to stay connected to that deep, inner wellspring of truth and serenity. From this peaceful harbour, Alex felt a quiet, resilient strength, a spirit ready to meet all of life's experiences with grace, with courage, and with an unwavering sense of inner balance. Alex now dwelled in a place of quiet inner calm. A peaceful harbour reached after a long and sometimes turbulent voyage. This peace was not a dull apathy, nor was it the complete absence of life's inevitable feelings. It was rather a deep and abiding acceptance of life in its magnificent, often mysterious totality. The storms of doubt and anxiety might still gather on distant horizons, as life is ever changing. But Alex now possessed a steadfast anchor. That profound inner stillness, first truly touched in the quiet grove, provided a secure mooring. This harbour was not conceived as a final, static resting place. It was a sanctuary, a place to replenish the spirit, to integrate the wisdom gained before setting sail once more on life's vast and wondrous ocean. The big questions about life's ultimate purpose, about the universe's deepest secrets, still remained. They likely always would, but the desperate, anxious need for absolute, definitive answers had gently dissolved, vanished like morning mist under a rising sun. Alex now embraced these ongoing questions, not as heavy burdens or sources of torment, but as gentle invitations. Invitations to further growth, invitations to forge deeper connections. Curiosity, a bright and joyful spark, had replaced the old anxieties. Wonder, a sense of awe at the grand mystery, had replaced the chilling fear of the unknown. The vast uncharted territories of existence no longer felt like a threatening void. They felt like an open expanse, rich with potential for exploration, for learning, and for continued becoming. This newfound, profound peace began to permeate Alex's everyday life. The small frustrations and daily annoyances, which once might have escalated into significant existential crises, were now met with greater perspective. With a patient, tolerant smile, interactions with others became imbued with a deeper empathy, a more genuine understanding. Alex moved through the routines of the world with a noticeably lighter heart, with a mind more open and receptive. The wisdom that had been so arduously gained was not a heavy cloak of intellectual knowledge. It was a gentle, guiding light, illuminating the path forward, one step, one breath at a time, offering direction without imposing rigid dogma, showing the way without dictating the pace. Alex now looked towards the future with hopeful anticipation. Life, Alex understood, was like an ever-flowing river, always moving, always new. There would be fresh currents to navigate, some gentle, some challenging, new landscapes to explore, both inner and outer. Alex now carried a compass, the distilled wisdom of the journey. Meaning is found in moving with the river's flow, with skill, awareness, and grace. The commitment to personal growth had become a cherished companion. Growth was recognized as an intrinsic part of being alive. Each new day presented countless opportunities. Opportunities to learn, to become wiser, more compassionate, a little more truly, authentically oneself. This dedication was fueled by a love for the process of becoming. A quiet joy found in the continuous unfolding of human potential. The commitment to fostering genuine connection was now deeply ingrained. Contributing to the happiness and well-being of others is a powerful source of meaning. Sharing one's own inner light, helping others to discover and nurture theirs. These acts of service created positive ripples, ripples that spread outwards, touching lives, and contributing to a more compassionate world. Alex felt a gentle desire to share the insights gained on the journey, not by preaching abstract doctrines or imposing beliefs, but by living these truths authentically, by simply being a quiet beacon of hope and understanding. The great journey of life continues. Its beauty lies in its ongoing dynamic nature. Its deepest meaning is discovered in the dance between personal growth and connection. A profound sense of gratitude filled Alex's heart. Gratitude for the journey already travelled, for the transformative wisdom unveiled along the way, and for the infinite possibilities ahead. The story was far from over. It was always in every moment just beginning. Alex stepped forward into the stream of life, with a peaceful heart, an open spirit, and a readiness to embrace the ever-flowing river. To live each moment with clear intention, love and courage,